Okay, so something a bit different today. You're used to us on Business Accountancy Daily talking all things accounting and tax. So we're going to talk a bit of business today, and I'm delighted to be joined by Nicky Butt. So thanks for coming, Nicky. Really appreciate it. So, how did you get involved with Salford Football Club? Where did it all start?
It was a case of we've set out to try and build an academy-based system around the area where we grew up and where we trained with Man United, and we realised that we were very, very fortunate with our football career to have had a lot of people look after us and take care of us in the surrounding area, and being given a really big opportunity at a young age at probably the biggest football club in the world. So we were very aware of that, and when we was coming to the end of our playing days, we wanted to find a way of, in all the businesses that we have, find a way of staying together, because we're all best friends. We've been friends since we were 12, 13. Spent more time with a group of lads than I did with my family, because we spent so much time in training in hotels. So we wanted to build something together where we would still have a friendship through a work or a business. And Salford came up, and we realised to have an academy, we needed an end game, an end product, which is the football club, because otherwise we were going to spend a lot of money with kids from the age of 8 right through to 16, money and time, and then all of a sudden we have no end game for them to go to. Yeah. So they're going to go to another club, and it's like it doesn't really work. So we did it. We had a chat with the Salford owners at the time, and we asked if we could come on board and help, not to take over the whole club, and we did that. And then before we knew it, the train starts going, and then you got a juggernaut just steaming along, and you are where you are now.
And talking of which, then you ended up becoming CEO. Did you see that coming?
No, I didn't. It's not where I want to be in life. It's not my calling, if I'm honest with you. I did a CEO course just in lockdown, 2021. And the reason why I did it, I had a chip on my shoulder. I was working at Man United at the time, and I was head of academy and head of first team development, and I always felt that with football, it's the biggest sport in the world. So everyone in the pub, in the restaurant, at school, at workplace has an opinion on football, which is fine. But my speciality is football. I've been playing football since I was probably 6. I would call it a degree in football in my coaching badges. So I'm very passionate about my opinion on that, and I accept people as opinions on it, but then I was trying to give an opinion on the business side of the football club, because I felt it was my place, because I was running the academy, I was running the budget, and I was getting shut down because I've not been to university, I've not got a degree, I've not got X, Y, Z, so I went and did my CEO course, probably because I had a chip on my shoulder about it, if I'm honest, and I wanted to learn the ways how a football club works, how a business works, and the more I did it, the more I got into it, I enjoyed it, and I finished that, and I had that accreditation next to me, and Peter Limmy was our business partner at the time within Salford, and a few other businesces asked me if I would go in and be a face, if you like, and still have the knowledge, but I had an FD with me as well, so they helped me. And again, it's not something I'm going to be doing for too long, it's just something I stumbled upon, but when I go back into football, into coaching or management, I think it's another string to your bow. I understand the dynamics of being a CEO now. I understand how difficult it is. You're working with people, budgets, HR issues. You fundamentally, you are the book starts with you, basically. If something happens, tragedy happens at the business, it's on you. Yeah. I never knew all that until I did the course. So it'll make me a better manager or sporting director when I go into that.
Yeah, that's a great thing about being CEO. You have to have you have to be across all the disciplines.
You do, yeah. But I also think, from a very small little, bit of knowledge I've got around it now, is you've also got to have empathy for other people in the other roles, and understand that they're better than you. Yeah. If you want to tell HR how to do the job, then that means you're better than them, and you're not. So let them do the role. Let them have autonomy for the job and accountability for the job, and the same with the FD, the same with the manager and the recruitment, whoever it might be within a football club. You have to give people autonomy to do the roles, else I think the best thing about being CEO is being able to listen. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people that I've seen do that. They want to run the whole show, and you can't do that. And I think everyone's a little small cog in a big machine, and if that cog turns round right, the next one will, and before you know it, the machine's moving forward, and that's when you've got success.
Yeah, 100%. That's the key. It's just getting all the bits working together. And the bigger it gets, the bigger the challenge and the more complex it becomes.
But I also think from what I've seen with CEOs and all the business I've been to, is most of them have got very big egos, and they think they know more than anybody else, and it's not true. It's not the fact. You don't know more than the media person about media. You don't know more about accountants than the accountants. You don't know more about HR and so on. And I think the best ones, the top ones that I've seen, they acknowledge that and understand that, and that's why they're so successful.
So talking to key people in the business, and bear in mind our audience, and I'm an accountant myself. Do you like accountants? How do you get on with your accountant?
No, we've got a great accountant. He's our FD. He was the CEO of Wigan Athletics, so he's been in my role. He's obviously on the numbers, Jonathan Jackson, and he's perfect for me. He says it as he sees it. He's everything to the letter of the law. He's not a ducker and diver, and he's blunt and tells you exactly what it is you want to do and you got to do. And he's on the numbers every single week. We get the budget figures. We know exactly where we are with the funding, and it's a dream really for me.
I know you're involved in quite a few businesses, but is that always something you've harboured, getting involved in business at some point?
No, it's the same as what I said earlier. It was how do we stick together as a group of friends? Because with football, it's very much like ships in the night. You play football together. You spend so much time together from Monday right through to after the game on a Saturday. You spend at least 2 nights a week in a hotel together. You spend at least 5 days, 6 hours a day together. So you're actually spending a lot more time than you do with your own family, and you become really close friends, and you have these little ventures come along. We've got a couple of universities, a couple of hotels, a foundation. We've also got the football club and a few other little bits and bobs. And I don't get involved in all the running of them all. It's more investments and PR to some of them. But certainly when it comes to the accountancies and the CEO role, I don't get involved in any of that. In any other business, it's only the football club.
So your CEO role at the football club, what do you see as your biggest challenges in that role?
People. Yeah, I think the people skills, managing people's expectations, managing people's highs and lows. The budget, I'm lucky that we work with some really good owners that we all make sure the budget works somehow.
Yeah.
But the people, I think people skills within the CEO role is very underrated. I think everyone looks along the lines of it's the business, the model. How do we get this more money in? How do we get more revenue in? How do we get more sponsorship in? But that never happens unless you've got the people that you work with on side. And I found that the first 6 months I did the role was the biggest headache. I was constantly getting complaints about people's not happy, the working environment's not right. And they're not, obviously the obvious one is they're not getting paid enough, they're not valued enough. And that was the biggest thing, how to change that mindset and how to bring that back and bring everyone on side. And it's all right, me and the other owners having a vision of where you want the ship to go, if you like, but it's bringing people on board with that and making them feel like, actually, I do believe in that a little bit. And also finding the ones that, I would call amber lights, and you've got to bring the amber lights to green lights, and if they are nudging on the red, it's not nice, but you've got to get rid and move them on. And if they're not,
not everybody wants to be on the journey.
No, and that's fine. People have got their own opinions and their own lives, but we have to make sure that you can't have people that are just going to try and fight against what you think's right. Because we're not all right, but we all have owners and board members that you have to answer to, and you have to make sure you're doing what they're happy with, and whether you believe in that or not, you've got to get on board, and if you're not on board, you've got to move on. So the answer to the question, quite going around the houses a little bit, is the managing of the people.
And what are the key things, in your experience in that 6 month period where you've brought them on that journey and got them a part of it? What do you think is the key thing that you've done to bring them,
giving them time
into the journey?
Giving them time, giving them an audience, and giving them an ear. Listen, understand the situations. You've got to be firm in your beliefs and how you see the journey and how you see the club becoming bigger fan base, bigger commercially, but listening to their thoughts, because I think it's important. Everyone's got to feel that they have a say in And it's not, we're not talking about Man United here or Tottenham, we're talking about Salford City, is a small football club.
Yeah.
So you've only got probably 120 people working at the club. So everyone's got to have a voice, and everyone's got to feel part of the decision making, even though they're not always are, but you have to let them have the say, and you agree with some of it, you disagree with some of it, you give them a reason why you disagree with them, and it's just time. If you can give time to the people, and even if they're not going to get the answers they want off you, they'll appreciate that you've sat down and you listened to them. And I think that is the biggest thing. It's my biggest strength, even when I was coaching and I was head of academy or whatever my role was at United or whatever roles I'd have. It's always giving people time, and I think that's my personal strength.
There's always lots of analogies and anecdotes between sport and business, and lots of books written around that. So, what are the sort of the core skills and knowledge that you've been to sort of take from the training ground and bring to the boardroom?
Good question. That I think it's work ethic. Mm-hmm. Don't put your feet up on the table and think you've done the job and you've made it. Or the same with football. I mean, when we first won our first big trophies, or the famous quote, "We never won it for my kids." I mean, we won a double. It was like we could have easily gone, "We're showing you now," and take your foot off the pedal a little bit, but would have been moved on really quickly if that would have been the case. Mm-hmm. So you just keep working, be resilient in anything that goes bad against you. But more importantly, when you're on a high and you're doing well, particularly how I see it now in the boardroom, if the club are doing well, it's not time to take your foot off the pedal. It's time to go even harder and drive the pedal down. So for me, what I took from what I was doing in my sporting life to what I'm doing now in the role I'm in now is like, make sure you're on it every single day. And that doesn't mean I'm in the ground from 6 till 9 at night. It doesn't mean that. It means that when I'm there and when I'm working with the people, they have to see that I'm on it and I'm driving our beliefs and the club forward. And the minute that they're seeing me going, I'm going for a game of golf at 2 o'clock, or I'm not coming on Thursday before the game on a Saturday, they'll start seeing that the so-called leader, if you like, is not driven, and is not driving the standards. And I think that's something that I've always had in me. My dad worked 2 jobs when I was a kid. Mum worked 2 jobs when I was a kid, and all my life has always been work ethic and working hard. And my dad used to always say to me that work ethic's the biggest skill you can have. It's not being bilingual. It's not be able to do 9 A-levels and a degree. Although that's all amazing, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it's work ethic. If you've not got work ethic, you'll never do anything in life. And I think that's what I've took from my sporting side, from when I was a kid to a professional to now doing stuff in business. And
is there any particular incident or an injury or something that was a negative impact in your football career that you've used then to inspire your team?
Yeah, it was. When I left United, when I was 30. I went to Newcastle, and they paid quite a bit of money for me. So I went up there and I thought, right, well, I need to add some more strings to my bow. Mm-hmm. And I started trying to do a lot of things that I wasn't capable of, because I thought I want to be their star man. So I was doing things that didn't come natural to me. I wasn't good at them, but I tried to do them to be the better player for the club I went to. And I had an absolute nightmare for probably about 9 months. I couldn't get out of this little hole that I was in, and I just kept remembering to be resilient and get through it. And I went back to basics and went back to doing what my strengths were. And then it went well. I ended up being captain at Newcastle for 3 years, and it ended up turning out quite well for me there. But I think it goes back to the fact that knowing what your strengths are, and I was saying earlier about knowing that you're not the HR expert or the media expert. You're not all them things. The same with football. I wasn't the player that could take on 10 players, or I wasn't the player that could do a 50-yard diagonal pass. I knew my niche and I knew what my strengths are, and I think remembering that now serves you right in business as well, because if you want to go and run a football club as an example, you can't do everything better than everybody. So you just get your strengths and be the best that you are. What you're good at, be the best at, basically. Yeah. And I think that's something I learned. Probably I didn't actually learn that until I was about 33 at work. It's not something I learned when I was 19, 20. I didn't learn that till I was 32. So I learned it quite late, but it's been valuable.
Brilliant. I can't not ask you about Sir Alex Ferguson. Yeah. I mean, you work for the best manager of all time. I'm sure there's lots, but is there any particular inspiration or learnings you've taken from working for Sir Alex that you carry to this day?
A bit the same as what I said about my parents, really. I mean, my wife was born in a working class area, Sir Alex was born in a working class area, and I think all these beliefs revolve around work ethic and hard work. So I'm not going to repeat myself about that again, but I mean, for me, the manager was always, you've got to be respectful of the people that are in the business, in the working environment with you, whether that's the receptionist lady, the canteen staff, the cleaning people, the laundry staff, whoever, the ticket officing staff, whoever it might be. You've got to be respectful to them, because everyone externally is all eyes on the players.
Yeah.
The players are the superstars, but without the laundry staff, you wouldn't have clean kit to go on. It sounds really simple, but it's a fact. You wouldn't have clean kit to go out and train with. You'd have wet, damp, horrible kit, and you'd be moaning you won't perform right. So I think it's understanding that it's not just the people that the eyes are on that make Man United, for example, the biggest football club in the world. It's about everybody, and I think I've noticed that certainly in croner-i and Peninsula and Bright HR, they seem to have a real big collaboration of staff that are all equal, if you like. Obviously not equal in the titles or the pay scales, but equal in the fact that you walk into this building every single day and you're all treated with respect. You're all given an ear, you're all allowed to speak up and have your opinions, and that's one of the big things the manager taught me was back then, and even to this day, you can see it in him. He's very humble, and he likes to give everybody time of day. He's like a god in Manchester, and basically he'll talk to anybody for hours and hours on end, and that was a massive teaching thing he gave me in my life, as well as the working experience of working hard and driving yourself every single day. He made it. I don't know the guy's name. You'd have to Google it, but I think it was the CEO of Marks and Spencer's. He used to always say that in all our team talks. We was playing against Barcelona or Arsenal or Chelsea, all these great teams. He never spoke about tactical or technical football. It was always about work ethic. We used to say he's a multi-millionaire. He goes to work every single day. He gets out of his bed at 6 a.m, he goes to work, he shows his face, he shows his staff that he's still there, and he could easily be at home playing golf or doing whatever he wanted to do because he's got all this money, but don't ever forget that basically you just got to keep driving yourself forward, and that's him to this day, even though sometimes health-wise doesn't allow him to do anything he wants to do. He's always on the front foot at charity events or dinners or however he can help the community. That's what he does.
Thanks, Nicky. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks so much. Thank you.